Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. How is everyone doing this fine Wednesday? Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Zello. Good morning, Patrick. Good morning, Royal Palms. Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Yogi. Yes, it's Vic's expiry. Good morning, Tony. Sterling will not be in today. He's got personal things to deal with. So it's just us and whoever else jumps in. Good morning to Patrick and Rusty over on Rumble and people in the background over there. So, hope everyone's having a fine morning already. Got some nice setups going, got some nice potential things going. But first, we had durable goods bouncing all over the place. But durable goods came out again, not really massively significant. You are. Am I late, or you're earlier than you normally are when you show up late? Holy. So you're. And I started when I normally start. So take that for what it's worth. Housing starts, building permits came out. Nothing shocking there. Again, durable goods month over month for December. Uh, Forecast was minus 3.4, coming in as minus 1.4. Consensus was minus 2. Previous was 5.4. Jumping all over the place. But again, nothing that's gonna uh, move the markets that much. What else do we have today? Red Book came out very strong, 7.2%. Um, we have industrial production capacity utilization coming out at 915. So in what, 10 minutes? We have Bowman speaking this afternoon. We have the FOMC meeting minutes from the last meeting. And that is it. So not a lot going on that's really good, that really could shake the market. So unless something comes out of nowhere, that's what we're looking at this morning. So far, we have the another Meta's gonna buy more Nvidia chips for all eternity until they run out of money. So I summed that up for you. A wizard is never late. Okay. Okay. Is that a Lord of the Rings reference? So, we got energy bouncing. A story out on Axios about potential more significant joint operation against Iran. Energy-based materials, leading technology. Everything's positive except consumer defensive. That's where we sit. Consumer utilities are flat. So we're back into sort of buy it all. Let's see what the VIX does. Let's see if we get the VIX crush today and buy it all. Ahead, remember, option expiration on Friday. Good morning, David. How are you? So we have still the pause for March, also a pause for April. I got a dog snoring under my desk. We are in fear mode, and show our PE is a dirt cheap 39.81. Jeez. In terms of, hold on one second. All right. There we go. Okay. In terms of earnings, analog devices, Solar Edge, nothing major market moving this morning. Garmin's, Moody's. After the close, I'm going to be really watching Carvana closely. But it's not going to move the market though. DoorDash, eBay. Tomorrow before the open, we have Walmart. That's a biggie. Walmart is a biggie. Good morning, Balaji. Good morning, Heinrich. So that's where we said tomorrow morning. Pay attention to Walmart. You also have John Deere tomorrow, Wayfair, but the biggie is going to be Walmart. So, they got gold still up there. Here's exactly what I'm looking at. So, we have a barely triggered sloppy 4-hour double bottom, but also yesterday's high was still a possible percent B bar. We already broke above it, but really pay attention to yesterday's high. And this is for a bounce only. This might only be a 1-day bounce. Okay, we still have the overhead resistance of the rotation zone. We have the 50 EMA, lots of overhead resistance, but I'm going to see if we triggered this today. We've triggered that 4-hour sloppy double bottom. So if we rotate back up, I'm paying attention specifically to this 90 or 99. Boy, that we got a quick 3,000 points to the S&P. The 69.42 first target. 69.42 first target is one I'm paying very close attention to. Above there, 69.64 and 69.86, 69.86.75. Where would this be invalidated if it were to fail? If it were to fail on a close below 6, well, technically no, I put it to the wrong place. Got to get this right. 68.31 on a closing basis, or a trade below 68.18. Okay, so that is where that sits. We did get a %B buy on the 4-hour. You got a %B buy yesterday on the 4-hour. You did get a %B buy yesterday morning on the 4-hour. That was this bar triggered right here. Then a little pullback and then a little follow through so far. So you are correct, Jacob. All right. Now I want to point something out. If this area was, you see, even going back to mid-December, you see all this buying pressure, especially if you do some candlestick math, these things would look like they all have wicks if you combine 2 days. But whether it was 1 or 2 days, this is a lot of buying pressure. If this level ends up failing, watch out below. That's something to keep in the back of your mind. Okay? If this area, even down to like, it's really, I mean, the lows are 67.50. I'll start paying attention if we start getting momentum below 6,800. Okay? But if this area eventually gives, watch out below. Other than that, we're still holding the key support. Just wanted to point that out. And the NASDAQ also has a potential %B buy setup. Tried to peak above there into the key resistances 24,955, 956 area and rejected from that already. So again, pay attention to yesterday's high. This is super aggressive because you have the overhead rotation zone. Remember, NASDAQ never flipped the probabilities. Never flipped them. Okay? So, the area is a little more dispersed on the NASDAQ because it's dipped down a couple times. But the area of recent buying pressure is above this 24,450 area. If that starts giving out, I'm going to be watching for a retest of the November lows. And we still do, if I come in here on the weekly basis, it's lopsided, but it does qualify still as a potential double top pattern. And the weekly rotation zone would be out of the way. Very important thing. Now, if the NASDAQ can get some traction and close above yesterday's high and we get any follow through, there is another larger double bottom pattern. We're nowhere near triggering it yet, but if that were to trigger, the 50 EMA and the rotation zone would all be out of the way. So that's the only, besides a minor bounce pattern, that's the only thing that gets me bullish really on the NASDAQ. That would have to trigger. Other than that, I'm choppy to bearish. If we start giving up this support levels, then I'm going full bearish. And that doesn't mean long-term bearish. That means I'm going to be going full bearish to see if this double top triggers. The Dow. The Dow also has this little mini trigger double bottom. So far pulling back. The invalidation point for that would be on a close below was that 49,408 or a trade below 49,321. The key target I'm looking at on this one is actually the first one, 50,110. That is the breakdown zone. This was the emotional candle from last Thursday that sliced through it. So I'm paying close to that attention to that on a rally. 52.55 and 50,400 are the next targets higher. All right, there we go. The Dow, I'm just watching these last 2 days of low area, but there's not as great setups for the short side because we'd be slamming straight into 50, which has been holding support. And below that, we have the natural market support. If you ever feel down in life, just remember the Dow hit 50K. We're all saved. The Dow hit 50K. The Russell does not, this is not a double bottom pattern because the targets exceed the move that started it. I'm just paying attention to this 2664 area. We get some momentum above there. The first target on a clear path move is just in front of 2690. It's about 2689. All right, pullbacks. We do have a little mini. We do. I don't know if it qualifies, though. I don't think it does. Yeah, it does. It does. We do have a little mini double top. Mini double top. Because the first and second targets are within the candle bodies that started the move on the 1 hour time frame. So on a 1 hour close below 2644.7, first target 2633.5, 2627.9. And on the bigger picture, if the Russell were to collapse below the 50, we still have a double top pattern in the Russell. The VIX, again, I'm going to be seeing if we get any VIX crush today. If the VIX starts dropping below about 1935, that does not mean the VIX is going back to 14. I'm going to be watching this key trend line support, but we could get a little move higher. Sustained move. If the VIX stays elevated, no. The DAX, this has been a mess. This has been an absolute mess. And when things are a mess, sit on your hands. This is not a double top pad. This one, see, does not qualify because specifically the second target cuts through the candle. It cuts through the wicks. So that is not a double top or a potential double top. So really, I'm just watching for anything to go bearish. It needs to get back below the 50 EMA. Other than that, we've tapped off the 75% harmonic twice with still an upwards bias. If we can break through that, 25,471 is the next target higher. The yields, we might be triggering 8% B buy today, already above yesterday's high. Okay, that's for a bounce play only, and the bounce play at most 4.12 for the first key target area. Gold, holding this nice flagging channel pullback. Remember, we've never shifted the probabilities in gold yet. Remember that. Remember that. If I put the harmonics back on, 5175.5, but I'm watching for a break above this channeling pattern. Then 5100 is the first target, at least for a stop raise, but does not shift the probabilities until we get above 5175. Really curious to see how we react at this descending flagging channel. We're closing in on the top. Silver, again, we have a potential inverse head and shoulders. Aggressive again. We still haven't shifted the probabilities. Crude, bouncing up, still holding key support. If we rotate back up again, this potential double will be off the table, but this is looking like it's really establishing a higher base. Unless something is resolved with the Iran situation, it looks like we're establishing a higher base in crude. So I have to remain on the bullish side on any pullbacks. Dollar index. Yesterday tried to break out above the rotation zone and got rejected. Now trying to climb back up. I'm watching really where this closes today. Other than that, we have not shifted the probabilities back down. So I'm still looking for longs. Now, if we close back below 96.14, not looking for longs anymore. So, what else? We got Bitcoin. Not much to talk about. Still 8 EMA in rotation zone is key resistance. The spiders, little gap up today. So on a rollover play, the gap fills to 682.85. The major line in the sand, remember, is the 677.62. We dropped below it yesterday, but still holding it. If we lose, we start losing the 678 area with momentum. I'm looking to shift bearish, but then very key is around the 675.80 area. If we were to lose that with moment, and again, if we had to follow through with the momentum, that's where I'm really start focusing on the short side for the spiders specifically. Other than that, bounce plays. Yes, above yesterday's high is another percent B. Buy, straighten, or resistance. So that has to be nimble. Moving up stops, in my mind, more aggressively. Okay. If you're looking for the next, if that does follow through, again, your 50% harmonics be where I'd move up a stop, not the stop level, but where I'd move up a stop. That's 686.46. And then the key on this little pullback, the key flip point is 689.13. The Qs does have still a potential double bottom on the bigger picture, does have a potential percent B buy on the shorter picture above yesterday's high. Straighten a resistance. 607.50 areas first target. 613 could be a second target. I'd probably drop that to about 612. The IWM does not have anything fantastic. I'm just really watching this 265.20 area. But on a rally, the first target is 267. If we give up the 259, remember there's still a gap left behind in the IWM. If we start giving up 259 with momentum, that's the way I'm looking for some potential short. What else do we have? Holy XLS had a bounce yesterday, but still under the 200-day. Yeah, with nothing's going straight down. It's also bounced off a very major support with a percent B buy for the bounce, so you might still get some follow through into the daily rotation zone. Okay, into also the major resistance and the underside of the 200. Not surprising it saw a bounce after this very key support level. I'd still be looking for rollover plays on this, unless it can get back above the 50 EMA. Then I'd switch my tune. What are we to make of that at all-time highs? Well, not surprising because of what's going on related to energy right now and crude forming a stronger base. What are we to make of it? It's very overextended, but this would not be anything as short for me. I'd just be watching for setups on the pullbacks. That's about it. So, speaking of energy, ET breakout with a nice dividend. What is it? Oh, 7% dividend. Yeah. Let's just see where our. So still's got to get that close to technically flip it. Still's got to get that close above 1888. So as long as this holds the 1770 area, I'd be remaining bullish on this and looking for that close above 1888. All right. So that is what's going on. Again, pay in the S&P and Nasdaq. Pay attention specifically to yesterday's highs. We already have the triggered mini double bottom pattern pulling back just below the candle bodies. We've talked about that before. We'll be looking to see if we can follow through on the open with some buying pressure. And this first target is very key, just to reiterate. Can we check out SEZ Sezzle and affirm? When do they have earnings? Is that next week? Yeah. I don't know if that's valid. That side looks valid. Yeah, I don't know if the targets are valid. Yeah. The only thing with Sezzle, close above 70.95 triggers this mini double bottom pattern for a potential retest of the highs from January 12th. Other than that, that's the only bullish thing. If it breaks down below this 58.60 area, I'd be watching for a retest of the November lows. So that's about it there. Affirm. Again, broken key support, broken everything. Again, any bounce plays would be for potential rollovers. Yeah, you have a triggered percent beat buy yesterday, could follow through a little to the daily rotation zone. You've lost very key support. Very key support's been broken with the declining weekly rotation zone. So I'd be looking for overall this thing to head lower after bounces. Because look at, you've already triggered the 62.5 rule, so you've hit nearly off the 75% harmonic. The magnet price 39.50 area with the 200. So I would, any bounce plays, I'd just be looking for the continuation into possibly the daily rotation zone and then rollover plays. And I'd be looking for 39.50 as a 39.54 as a target area. Good morning, Jake. You're late, Jake. What happened? That's about it. So the only way I get bullish on Sezzle is that double triggers, that double bottom. Would not be getting bullish on Affirm. This would be for rollover plays only from my perspective. With that, heading into the open. So I will talk to everyone tomorrow. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye for now.